Millions of people around the world are enjoying a lifestyle that places ever greater demands on energy resources. Until very recently, oil and gas seemed to be the main sources of energy for all human needs, whether industrial, agricultural, or developmental. The demand for new sources of energy is increasing rapidly and at an unprecedented rate. Experts confirm that it took humans 125 years to consume the first 1 trillion barrels of oil, but it will only take 30 years to consume the second billion barrels of oil. While the population of the planet is increasing and economies are expanding, factors that have profound implications, the quality of life humans lead today has just as many important qualitative implications. Life of the 21st century places greater demands on energy resources than ever before. The era of easily extracting oil is certainly over. What we do in the future will determine how well we can meet the needs of the global oil market. GCC countries are home to over 42% of the world's oil reserves and over 23% of the world's natural gas reserves. GCC countries are fully aware of the critical role the returns of oil and gas play in financing infrastructure and human development. However, they spare no effort in finding new and innovative ways to diversify their economies and augment their national incomes. Currently, investments are directed towards expanding refining activities, as well as the distribution and marketing of petrol and petrochemicals. The private sector is being encouraged to assume a greater role in future development activities. Also, GCC countries play a vital role in securing the energy needs of the entire world. This role is of increasing importance when it comes to securing sustainable development for our future generations and for confronting the challenges of the future. GCC countries realise that effective development requires collaboration and innovation in the maintenance and sustainability of resources, not only over the next couple of years, but over the next 50 years and more. GCC countries are fully committed to developing their hydrocarbon industries and transportation means. Oil companies in the Gulf have been busy in energy expansion programs in the last decade of the 20th century. The determining factor in these plans is expanding the production capacity of existing oil fields. Funds will be assigned for the development of production capacity through updating oil and gas fields and through placing emphasis on the gas fields that are spread around the region. GCC countries have established compounds for petrochemicals that depend on natural gas as a source of energy. The petrochemical industry's demands for natural gas are expected to grow in the same way that the demands made by the electricity generating facilities have also increased. These demands are expected to be met through the ambitious Dolphin project. Gas will be pumped through pipes from the northern field of the state of Qatar to a number of other countries in the region. GCC countries are constantly developing and updating their refineries. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia possesses huge oil reserves that are also inexpensive to extract. Over half of the kingdom's reserves are distributed over 8 major fields, including the largest landfield in the world. The kingdom will compensate for any depletion in these fields through new projects in the areas of Khatif, Basfa, Khurais and Harada. Oil continues to be the backbone of the economies of the GCC countries and the foundation of their global presence as a major exporter of oil and petrochemical industries. The main markets for GCC oil are the Far East, the United States, and the Mediterranean countries of Europe. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia alone produced 8.1 million barrels of oil a day in 2003 and has plans to expand production to 12 million barrels a day in the long term. This production will be further augmented by the sale of natural gas. The Kingdom is working towards becoming the leading producer and exporter of hydrocarbons and petrochemicals in the globe via a series of ambitious expansion plans. The Sultanate of Oman has an oil reserve of approximately 5 billion barrels, most of which are in fields located to the north and the centre of the country. New fields were also discovered in the south. To maintain its 800,000 barrels a day level of production, the Sultanate has had to invest a lot in development due to the geological nature of the country's terrain, which makes oil rather difficult to extract. The Omani natural gas reserve amounts to 0.95 trillion cubic metres. It's used for both exportation and as a source of energy for local manufacturing industries. In fact, manufacturing is viewed as the country's perceived main alternative for diversifying the base of its economy and national income. The Sultanate has a small refinery in the Fahel port and another close to the Sohar area. The Sultanate of Oman has important investments in the petrochemical industry's projects. The northern field of the state of Qatar is home to the largest natural gas field in the world. The country also has a number of unassociated gas sources. The government of Qatar believes that the economic future of the country rests on developing its natural gas production capacity. 2 plants have therefore been established for liquefied natural gas. As a major source of energy, Qatar opted to further invest in the infrastructure, discovery and excavation of natural gas for local use and for exportation to other GCC countries. Currently, there are projects in the state of Qatar that aim at a level of production that exceeds 1 million barrels a day. The state increases this output to meet the demand of the international markets, which also enhances the presence of Qatar in the global arena. Qatar's objective continues to be to secure a leading position in transforming natural gas into liquid gas. This provides for the energy demands necessary to the development of the state of Qatar itself, and also for the rest of the Gulf and neighbouring countries. The state of Kuwait is currently working on increasing its oil production capacity from 2.4 million barrels a day to 5 million barrels a day by the year 2020. The accelerating pace of development and associated investments in infrastructure, communication and transportation projects places a great demand on energy. Kuwait possesses approximately 96.5 billion barrels of proven reserves, amounting to around 8.4% of the total global reserve. Most of this reserve is sitting in the Burgan field, which produces 1.6 million barrels a day, most of which is exported to Asia, specifically Japan. After having returned refineries in Mina Shwaiba, Mina Abdullah and Mina Al Ahmadi to their normal production levels of approximately 900,000 barrels a day, Kuwait is planning on accelerating the pace of development in the field of petrochemical industries. Kuwait has ambitious plans to increase production to about 1.8 million barrels a day by the year 2010. This is the reality of energy resources in the region. The discovery of difficult excavation resources, the depletion of some oil and natural gas fields, the increased demand and the increased competition over the same sources. And the important question remains: are there alternative sources of energy to oil and gas?
Since the sharp increase in the demand on oil, especially in 1973, the world began researching alternatives to petroleum as a source of energy, either as replacements or as secondary sources to the more conventional energy sources. These are known to all as coal, petroleum, gas, and nuclear energy, in addition to alternative, eco-friendly resources such as wind and water power that are not available in many countries. There are new and renewable sources that research has concentrated on over the last 3 decades. These are solar energy for generation of both electricity and heat, and wind power. However, despite research efforts, not much advancement has been made despite the expectations and ambitions of scientists.
وهذين المصدرين حقيقة من المصادر التي جرى عليهم التركيز خلال العقود ال3 الماضية، وكان هناك تقدم ليس بمستوى الطموح الذي كان يتوقعه المختصون في تلك الأيام.
GCC countries occupy a large geographical area that receives plenty of solar energy over extended periods of any given year. It's only rational for governments to invest in this energy to be able to generate electricity for daily use. Evidence of this wise move is evidenced by the establishment of the Solar Village, some 45 kilometers away from Riyadh city. This investment was made not only to find alternatives to conventional sources of energy, but also to be better able to deliver electrical power to the remoter areas of the country that are far away from the main sources of energy. The performance of this village was upgraded to become a central research centre for solar energy, providing its services at the local and regional levels. The Solar Village has many achievements. Aside from better benefiting from solar energy, the village has contributed substantially to the development and qualification of the national workforce to work in the field of energy. Solar energy can be transformed into electrical power or heat through electrolytes and heat transfers. It's already being used in the lighting of tunnels, traffic lights, and some road signs. The use of solar energy for the generation of electricity is the predominant alternative for household electricity, because it's the most economically viable alternative. The solar plate is made up of special material that transforms solar energy into electricity or heat. Once the rays of the sun fall onto the surface, a mirror reflects the ray through a refraction lens. Investment in solar energy responds to the need to find long-term, eco-friendly solutions to conventional electricity sources like oil and gas, and to meet the energy needs of those living in remote areas. Almost all countries around the world are researching and trying to find alternatives to oil as a source of energy. Some of these efforts have caused a sense of optimism. However, the real importance of oil as a substance is not entirely linked to energy. Aside from being a renewable source, oil derivatives are basic substances in the manufacturing of many everyday products. The need and demand for these products is increasing, and new products are constantly being developed. Some of these products cannot be replaced by any other alternatives that are not oil-based. This drives concern as to the ever-increasing importance of oil as a substance and stipulates the need for conservation and sensible consumption. Preparing for the energy needs of the future requires collaboration by the global community. Governments, scientists, environmentalists, economists, industrialists, and citizens. This collaboration is our legacy and our gift to the future generations, to provide them with the much-needed security and the ability to face the challenges of the future.